Well, Kayla Nicole, you don't shut up talking about Travis and Taylor. So yeah, they come after you. Like, no shit. So they are perfect. That is kind of like the Angel thing when she was obsessed with Caitlyn, and then Caitlyn fans.
Friends, hang in there because Dave Portnoy is at it again. If you think rants and sharp comments are somewhere in the past, nope, he's back to shake up the internet again. This time he went over Kayla Nicole and WNBA star Angel Reese podcast, where Kayla talked openly about her feelings after her breakup with Travis Kelce and his new romance with Taylor Swift. And now it would seem, well, Volkswagen's podcast, but no, Dave decided to add oil to the fire with his harsh review, so much so that now not only Kayla's words are being discussed, but also what Portnoy himself said. And what he said was, to put it mildly, something very blunt. Kayla is just looking for a way to get back into the spotlight, he said, and that was enough to start a news storm on social media. Some agreed with him, others rose to Kayla's defense, and others accused him of being overly cruel in general. But why did all of this cause such a reaction? Let's break down exactly what Portnoy said and why his words got the public so hooked. Kayla and Travis were together for 5 years, starting in 2017, a relationship that everyone around them thought was perfect. And then, bam, it ends. This is the story of Kayla Nicole and Travis Kelce. Yes, that's right, Kayla, a successful journalist and model who was by the side of one of the NFL's top stars for 5 years. Their relationship started out like a fairy tale. Kayla was a frequent guest at Kansas City Chiefs games. She didn't just sit in the stands, she literally lived Travis's success, supported him, was friends with the wives and girlfriends of other players on the team. They seemed like a dream couple. He was a soccer star, she was bright, ambitious, and always there for him. But as it often happens, behind the beautiful cover hid difficulties. Their relationship cracked several times, and although they tried to repair everything, in 2022, the couple finally separated. We tried to compromise, but at some point it became clear that it just wasn't working. Kayla recounted, and that's where the fun part comes in. Kayla claims she holds no grudge against Travis, but friends, let's be honest. Who would be able to calmly watch your ex move on with his life and also be the center of everyone's attention? When you're with someone for 5 years, it becomes part of your identity, and then it ends and you have to find yourself again, she shared on the podcast. And because it's true, 5 years isn't just a relationship, it's a lifetime. Imagine what it's like to be a part of something big, to be friends with people, to be the center of attention, and then suddenly find yourself on the sidelines. Kayla says she had to rebuild her life, but did she make it to the end if she's still talking about it? That's the big question. In 2023, Travis started dating Taylor Swift, which became some of the most talked about news in the pop culture world. Taylor doesn't just support Travis at the matches, she actively hangs out with other girls, makes friends with his family, and is always the center of attention in the stands. She smiles, waves to the fans, sincerely cheers for the team. Of course, that's hard to miss. But for Kayla Nicole, Kelce's ex-girlfriend, it was a particularly difficult moment. Not long ago, she was part of this circle, socializing with players' wives and girlfriends, and now her life has completely changed. It's not a grudge, Kayla says on her podcast. It's just the fact that I'm no longer where I used to be. It's a hard thing to realize. And, you can understand her, when you've been a part of one life for 5 years and then someone else takes its place. It's hard to accept. Kayla feels like she's just been cut out, and it hurts. But it begs the question, Taylor is just living her life, right? Is it her fault that the world adores her? The podcast instantly sparked a lot of discussion on the internet. Of course, the internet immediately exploded, and fans split into two camps. On one side are those who fully support Kayla, and on the other side are those who think she just can't let go of the past, and the argument between these groups has heated up beyond belief. Kayla supporters say, "Let the man speak." One of her fans on Instagram wrote, "Everyone experiences breakups differently. If she feels better after sharing her emotions, that's her right." And it's hard to disagree because emotions are part of our lives, right? Another Twitter user added, "Taylor barged into her world. It's understandable that Kayla is having a hard time. She deserves understanding, not judgment." But Taylor Swift fans have proved far less tolerant. They're convinced Kayla could have used this podcast to show her strengths rather than complain about life. Well, make drama out of it? Taylor is just living her life. She has nothing to do with anything at all, wrote one of the singer's fans indignantly. And you can understand them here too. It's really not Taylor's fault that her relationship with Travis has become so popular. So, as you can see, opinions are divided. Some see Kayla as a hurt woman who is still going through a breakup, while others see her as sincere and brave. All this noise did not go unnoticed by Dave Portnoy, who is known for his straightforward and often harsh statements. Portnoy didn't mince words for long and called Kayla Nicole's podcast an attempt to get attention at the expense of someone else's popularity. It's just a cheap way to remind yourself. Taylor and Travis are on top right now. And of course, everyone wants a piece of their fame. This podcast isn't about feelings, it's about making yourself part of history, he said on his show. Dave also added that such revelations only add fuel to the fire and create unnecessary drama around people's personal lives. Kayla could have moved on, focused on her career, but instead she decides to discuss Taylor and Travis. Why? It doesn't add to her points, he noted. Well, friends, now let's talk about how Dave Portnoy has stirred up the internet again. If you've ever heard him speak, you know that the man never chooses his words too carefully. And so he recently went on Kayla Nicole's podcast in a way that set the internet in an uproar. Portnoy, as usual, said what he thought. He called Kayla's podcast with Angel Reese a cheap attempt to get attention at the expense of someone else's popularity, and went on to add more fuel to the fire. Taylor and Travis are on top right now. Of course, everyone wants a piece of their fame. This podcast isn't about feelings, it's about making yourself a part of their story, he said on his show. Dave felt that Kayla should have focused on her career instead of discussing her ex's relationship. She could have moved on, used her platform to talk about her projects or successes rather than complaining about life. Why? It doesn't add to her points, he concluded. So, of course, what do you think happened next? The internet immediately split into two camps. Portnoy's supporters, as always, were ready to back him up. On Twitter, posts from people who completely agree with his stance began to appear. I don't know how many there are, but they're really diverse. Portnoy is absolutely right. No one is stopping Kayla from moving on with her life, but she chooses to stomp around. It looks pathetic, one user wrote. Another added, she could talk about her work, her projects, but no, it all comes down to complaining about Taylor. It looks like jealousy. Such comments are understandable. To many people, Kayla may indeed look like someone who is stuck in the past. But friends, not everyone agreed with Dave. Kayla also had quite a few defenders who felt that her right to talk about her feelings shouldn't be challenged. Everyone experiences breakups differently. If it makes her feel better to speak out, why shouldn't it? Commented one of her supporters. Dave is attacking women as usual. It's rude and ugly. Why can't she speak out about what she's going through? Another user opined. The people see Kayla as someone who is just trying to deal with a difficult situation, and judging her for that is wrong. Portnoy's response was so resonant because it hit two sensitivities. It was the feeling of the team, and to make the conversation stick, it's so important that we all share the same. First, many felt he was too harsh on a woman who was merely sharing her experiences. Well, secondly, his harsh defense of Taylor Swift made one wonder why the discussion of her relationship with Travis became so public in the first place. Dave is as tough as ever, and a woman talks openly about her feelings and he makes a show out of it. Outraged, users wrote on social media. But of course, Portnoy also has his own army of supporters who think he just said what everyone already thinks. Oh, it's absolutely right. It's absolutely right. It's high time for Kayla to put the past behind her and stop making public complaints. His fans backed him up. And, amid all the drama, people on the internet, as usual, didn't miss a chance to laugh. Some suggested that Taylor Swift should write a new song about what it's like to be dragged into someone else's drama. And others decided it's time for Kayla to find a new boyfriend, preferably a basketball star. To throw a backlash. Let Kayla start dating someone from the NBA. Then we'll get a new round of drama. Imagine how fun that would be. Reddit users laugh. And, maybe there's something to that. The internet will always find a way to make a serious situation into a funny show. Kayla Nicole is certainly a talented and colorful individual. Her career in sports journalism, modeling, and social media activity show that she has a lot of potential. However, her participation in this podcast makes you wonder what path she is choosing. Kayla should have been focusing on her work instead of discussing Taylor and Travis's relationship. It makes her look hurt and immature, opined one fan of Portnoy's show. Amidst all the commotion, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have remained silent. The couple seems to prefer to stay out of the drama and focus on their relationship. Taylor and Travis are happy together. They're not going to waste time gossiping, an insider from their entourage reported. And that, many believe, only adds to their respect. Taylor is keeping quiet, and rightly so. She's showing that she won't let herself be dragged into conflict, a Swift fan commented. This story is an example of how difficult it is to remain neutral in a world where every emotion becomes a cause for discussion. Dave Portnoy, as always, expressed his opinion harshly, but his words make us wonder, was Kayla's public confession really sincere, or was it an attempt to regain some of the attention? Everyone makes a choice. Kayla chose to share her experiences, and that's her right, but maybe she should have thought about how it would be received, one showbiz analyst summarized. What do you think? Should Kayla have talked about her feelings? Or is Dave Portnoy right and such revelations only create unnecessary drama? Share your opinion.